The Democratic Alliance, on the other hand, will hold its Gauteng elective conference this weekend. Khume Ramulifho is challenging current provincial leader Solly Msimanga for the top job. Msimanga joins us now for more on that. Good to have you, sir. Thank you very much for your time.
Well, good evening, and good evening to the Newzroom Afrika viewers. Thank you for having me. So
you are now, what, 19 years or so in the party, or maybe 20? You're nearly an adult, like nearly 20, 21, like. You've been here for a while. Khume is saying, well, maybe he's been there slightly longer than you. But however, if we look at what has happened under your leadership in the province, 78 seats lost in 2021. Not a good look for you.
Well, Tom, I think you are very much unfair. I took over in 2020 when the party was really falling apart. When in 2020, you'd remember, the leader of the party had left, was coming from Gauteng. The provincial leader of Gauteng left. One of the regional chairperson in Gauteng North, that is Pretoria, left. So obviously, I took over when there was a lot of instability. I took over when nobody wanted to put their hand up. I put my hand up to say, we will take some knocks, but we will need to rebuild. And it's not by mistake that we find ourselves where we find ourselves right now. And it's now convenient for people to then want to raise their hand and say they're ready to take over, while it was difficult, in 2020 when we started taking over. And I'm glad that we are sitting here. Our structures are, ready and geared towards the elections. Our, political work on the ground is, par none, in Gauteng. We are ready to face elections, whether the elections do come out tomorrow or so. We are in a very stable financial situation, and we continue to grow. Our structures are ready. We are training our activists. We are, we're ready. We're getting to now process the lists of people that go to the provincial legislature and to parliament. So a lot of work has gone into correcting what was left in 2020 when we take over. And this is something that we are proud to then say to our delegates, look at our track record. It speaks for itself. You can trust us.
Yeah. You see, the thing about being 19 years in the party is that your leadership comes with a lot of hiccups along the way. I mean, some of them lips being bruised and playing out on Twitter. Some of them are appointments that were challenged. Marietta who comes to mind. Mwekezi Masola comes to mind. All these things working out in a sense to say your reputation doesn't come as spotless as you would like it to come.
Well, the thing about, things that play out, I'm human. I've never hidden away to the fact that I'm human. I do err, and when I do err, we do come out and we do say that, this is the mistakes that have been made, and we correct them and remove. And this is why this party will listen to somebody who has a vision, somebody who has been able to then show that they have the ability to do what needs to be done. Now, if you want to then use that as a yardstick in terms of what can be done, I think you will be very much in an unbalanced manner presenting the facts. You're not talking about the fact that when I got into Tshwane, in the first year, we were able to move from a deficit that we found Tshwane into a very big positive, that led to us being able to then ensure that Tshwane was able to procure vehicles, that Tshwane was able to then get out of some of the debts. Yes, things happened when I left, and these are things that we wanted to then start correcting. You would know that I took a report to council to then say, let's correct some of the things that happened, that we found out that were happening. And we were not hiding behind those things. We wanted to make sure that they get to be corrected. And unfortunately, those that were in the opposition, prevented that from happening. So I don't know how you want to then pin that on me. The issue of Marietta Oukamp, we acted. We didn't, sweep matters under the floor. We saw that there was something that was unto us. Tell me any other party that has been able to do that has been able to then, with speed, be able to then deal with matters and not try to explain it away and hide it, but dealt with it decisively and in the public domain. That is something that, I call leadership, where you then say, if there's something wrong, you're not going to hide, you are going to deal with it, and people will know that you have dealt with it.
So your position saying, well, maybe it's time that the party stays clear of leaders who would have been tainted by wrongdoing? I suppose, speaking from a point of view that he's got pretty much a clean slate.
Well, the funny thing, Thabo, is that when you go and campaign, you don't say what's wrong with the other person. You go and say what you are willing to do. You say what is your vision? How are you going to get the party to where it needs to go? You then need to say, this is what has been happening. This is what I'm going to do to correct it, and this is what I will then, put on the table. There's a mandate that we got in 2020. We have been sticking to that mandate. We are now, as I said to you, very, very much geared towards the 2024 elections. We're doing very, very well. Structures are feeling much more energized. They're feeling that much more involved. We have turned the situation where it used to be a top-down now, and structures feel that they can influence how their own campaigns need to run.
Yeah.
We are doing all of this. And this is part of what I promised the delegates in 2020. And this is why now I can tell you right now that the delegates are saying we have seen a turnaround of the party that was written off by many, who even including on this channel that were coming and said that DA has hit rock bottom. Right now, as we're talking, the polls are showing us that we are slightly ahead of the ANC in the province. That tells you that there is something that we are doing that seems to be working. Now, the delegates are saying, why change a winning formula? And this is the promise that I've made to our delegates, and we're going to continue to do that. I'm not going to sit here and say to you that everything has been smooth running, everything has been 100%, but at the same time, there is a vision that delegates have bought into and will continue to buy into that will get us to 2024, and that will also be a very firm foundation towards 2026, and that's what my focus is on.
Yeah, I know your focus now is purely on internal support, so let's keep it there a little bit. I suppose once you're elected, we'll bring you back and we'll talk about the other things and what you're dealing with going to 2024. But just talking to you now, most of your success that you're citing happens from your home city. And the criticism for you is that you have not been able to build your profile outside of that home city.
Thabo, there's never any, I've fought by elections in all these municipalities, and I can tell you for a fact, there's never been a by-election that we fought ever since we took over that we've lost. None. We've never lost a by-election. And I have been there throughout the campaigns, whether you're talking about campaigns in Sebokeng, whether you're talking about campaigns. Even now, 2 weeks ago, I was there in Angelo, in Boksburg, where the blast happened. I helped with the team that I'm leading to help, get people to be buried where they needed to be buried. We have run a number of campaigns successfully, including that of, the broad-based economic empowerment that seeks now to, remove Indian and colored people out of certain sectors of the economy. We have led successful marches across, whether you're talking crime, whether you're talking about dealing with the issues of the Zamazamas. I will be one of the first people when there's an issue. When there was that explosion on Christmas Eve in Ekurhuleni, I was one of the first people to arrive there because I know that I'm a provincial leader that has to be there. The question you should be asking is that something that has been managed somewhere else? And the answer will be a definite no. And the delegates will again speak for themselves come this weekend.
Solly Msimanga, I appreciate you coming on. Let's speak to you again this weekend once those results come out. Thanks for coming on.